Shambho, Mahadev, Mahadev, Om Shanti. Where did we stop? Acharya specifically wrote this Shastra for the benefit of those who are groping in the dark for finding the ways and means for liberation or Atmajnanam. Liberation through Atmajnanam. So he has specified that the disciples or the Atmas, Jivatmas, who are wanting such kind of liberation through Jnanam, he being a Brahmajnani, Atmajnani, having experienced the life and the living in Brahmajnanam, is advising others to follow certain methods. There cannot be a doubt or a question about the facts that has been written, mentioned here. As we know, the qualification of the person who has really achieved that what is necessary, and is a reincarnation to lead the seekers to the true Brahmajnanam, to the truth, to the true Brahmajnanam, to self-realization. Anything you can call, these are all paryayas of the liberation only. Either it is liberation or it is after liberation, it's only Brahmajnanam or Brahma Sakshatkaram. Nothing other than that. So he is growing gradually, step by step. We are on the first shloka. Every attempt at living in self-control, in all our contacts with outer world, wherein all efforts are dedicated for the higher purpose of evolving ourselves into a diviner being, is known as tapas. He is told that one of the requirements of discrimination of the real and the unreal, non-attachment to the unreal, or detachment from the unreal, and the shatsampati, six-fold goodness of these things, and compelling desire for self-discipline, compelling desire for liberation or self-discovery. or liberation. These four we said. So, how these four can be achieved is what he is telling. One has to have the tapas. Well, shatsampati incorporates this tapas, no doubt about it. But still, he has taken out that tapas from that shatsampati and putting it for us that most important, what is tapas? Tapa, generating the heat, generating the energy, generating the tapam. Tapa is not only the heat, that means the heat of necessity, heat of requirement, heat, that kind of heat, not the temperature heat. Tapa. Tapa is that constantly being in one state. What is that state? Having attained the self-control, or living, not having attained, being in the self-control. Let me put it, that's the right way. Being in the self-control. That means being means living in the shatsampati. Undergoing the process of the self-control, that non-attachment, discrimination, unreal, detachment from unreal, shatsampati, and the burning desire for the evolution, burning desire for the liberation. This constantly being there in life, in each and every moment of our being there, is what he said about the being in self-control. This is then only the self-control can happen. Control of the, what is the self-control? One is that we are talking about the self-realization. We are also talking about the self-control. Is a self, this should not be misunderstood, is why I am just repeating this. Self-realization is realizing about the self. Self-control is not controlling this self. Self is that the antaratma, the jnanam, or the higher consciousness, not controlling that. In order to attain that self, controlling the paraphernalias around that antakarana, mana, indriyas, and the externalities, bhautika sukha, and detachment and things like that. Those are the things, what we call it as control of the others in order to reach the self. So it is known as self-control, self-control. It's not control of the self. It's not control of the self. Control for the self. Where in our contacts with the outer world, when we are with the Sharira and Mana, we cannot deny or defy the contact with the outer world or bhutas. We have to have control with the bhutas. We have to eat, we have to drink, we have to sleep, we have to pray, we have to read, everything we have to do. He says do everything. But while you are in contact with the outer world, that means the world that is other than you, other than yours. The world that is of yours is not including any of these things. They are by itself. It doesn't have any associations with any of the things. It is Advaitaha, Advaitatman, which doesn't have the pluralities, which doesn't have the paryayas there. Whereas when in the outer world or the externalities or where the mind is involved, we have lots of things getting associated, even though they are all from the same source. When a tree grows up, let us think. When we say same source, how do you understand it? When the tree has to grow, the seed is also the tree. The plant is also the tree. From there it comes. The flower is also that tree. The fruit is also that tree. From that, this branches and leaf, everything is that tree. And the seed that falls down from there again is the tree only. Even though I am looking at these paraphernalia as totally different. You ask someone, is the tree same as the seed? No. It looks like this. But the tree looks like that. Is the branches and leaf is the tree? No, they are not tree. Is the flower the tree? No. Is the fruit the tree? No. The seed that is coming from the seed, is that seed and the seed that was there before, is it the same? Oh no, they are all plural. You got my point. Now, is they are not same? They are all same. They are from that same unit alone. But I am looking at them as pluralities. Similarly, the bhutas in our life as well as the experiences in our life, even though they are all the same as I am, but I look at them as different, is why we said about the world outside, or contact with the outside world, or world with the outer world, we said. The inner world and the outer world, even though they are the same, I differentiate from the inner world and the outer world because of my ignorance, because the pluralities have been created by the mind and the intellect, differentiating the root and the flower separate. The root of the tree and the flower as separate. For a jnani, the flower comes from the root only. Without the root, the flower cannot come. It is a part of the root only. Initial analysis. At last, it is the tree only. Or as a whole, it is the tree. What is a tree? Suppose you ask somebody to explain what is a tree. The tree consists of all this. If any of these things are not there, it is not the tree. Without the root, it is not the tree. Without the branches, it is not the tree. Without the flower, it is not the tree. Without the leaves, it is not the tree. It's only stem, they call it. No, it is not the tree. When I say it's a tree, it's with all these things. So when I say Atma, when I say Paramatma, when I say Atma, when I say individual, is consisting of all these externalities put together. Is the I, is the Aham. The Aham is not that, neither it is singular, nor it is plural. The Aham is neither it is not one, not aneka, neither ekam, not anekam. Is it Advaitam, not the two. Advaitam, not the plural. But it didn't say it is one. If it is not plural, is it one? See, the beauty of that word is, many people said it is one and the two. One and Dvaitam. Dvaitam here is not two, anek, that number of numbers, the Dvaitam. Neither one nor aneka. Advaita, not plural. That means not one. Why he didn't say it is one? If it is not two, it should be one. No, that's what we think. With a logical mind or with an external mind, with an experiencing human mind, we think that if it is not two, it has to be one. Or if it is not anekam, it has to be ekam. If it is not two, we say it can be three. If it is not 3, it can be anekam. If it is not anekam, can it be 1? Is the question. We say yes. If it is not anekam, it is ekam. That is why ekam and anekam, we thought it is opposites. Ekam and anekam are not opposites. In the ekam, anekam is incorporated. In anekam, ekam. Ekam is incorporated in anekam. How can it be separate? Ekam. Anekam, ekam, it has come there, no? It has come there also. I am just playing with the words, that's all. Just to make us understand. In anekam, ekam is there. Without ekam, anekam will not come. What is this then? What is anekam? What is plural? What is ekam? Why an anekam? What is advaitam? Why it is told advaitam? You can straight away say it is ekam. Brahman, no, like many places it said that. Eko satyam vipro Bh.Aadi vadanti. Eko satyam. Eko brahmam vipra Bh.Aadi vadanti. They said that. Eko brahmam. There it is ekam, he said that. Is that ekam and this ekam, that advaitam is the same? No. When he said ekam, it is incorporating the anekam inside that. Dvaitaha, that means not two, not aneka, he said. Why? Because if I say eka, there has to be aneka. So I cannot say it is eka. And I cannot say it is aneka also. It's a very peculiar situation. Is megham, is ekam or anekam? Megh. Is ekam or anekam? Neither eka nor anekam. And very simple to understand. Is it ekam or anekam? The water in the sea, is it ekam or anekam? I can interpret anekam. Number of droplets makes ocean. We all study, that nursery rhymes are there. Anekam, aneka droplets of water makes an ocean. So it is anekam. If that anekam is together, is the sea is ekam? Why we never said that it is only one water? We didn't say that. Ekam is not one. Neither it is anekam nor ekam. You got my point. It is there in presence of you. Brahman is neither ekam nor anekam, even though for our understanding, that is why he specified it. Eko Brahmaha, Eko Brahmaha. Identify it as ekam, as Brahma. Vipra Bh.Aadi vadanti. The knowledgeable people, great men, have described it as Bh.Aadi vadanti. Differently they have explained it. He did not say, they said about anekam. He said they have explained it in a many different ways. Eka Bh.Aadi vadanti. Similarly, we do not identify it as ekam. Why? Because, again, one more clarification, Brahman is not ekam. Why? Because if we identify one as one, when I am seeing many, it's a comparative statement actually. When there are many, I call it as one. As I told, when one megha is there, one akasha is there, we don't call it as one akasha, it is akasha. When I have to say one, then I have to identify anekam. There has to be a separate one. Then only, that is also dvaitam. Then only I can say it as one. Otherwise, we don't say it as one. Like my heart, my throat, my eyes, when I identify them, when it is only. These things are also can be examples. So, ekam with the outer world. So, contact self-control. That's what I said about why we have told all these things. What is that self-control? The discipline of understanding discrimination of the real and unreal. This is what called discrimination of the real and the unreal. What is the real? Real is that Brahman alone, which is all pervading. When it is all pervading, one wind we don't call it, one breeze we don't call it, breeze. That's all. Wind. So the number is identified only when someone is in that incorporated in the number only. When he is one or aneka, he identifies something as one or aneka. The one who is not involved in the one and the aneka, he doesn't identify one and aneka. When he is all pervading, he doesn't call anything as one or aneka because he doesn't see anything as one and aneka. He being identifying himself as one, he identifies something as one, he identifies something as anekam. He compares the objective world with him. He identifies himself as one, I, aham. When it is told, as I said, aham is a combination of many things, is it not? Even just simply say, even ordinary language, logical language, even if I say I is consisting of, like I said, tree is consisting of from the seed to the ripened fruit and the seed falling from that. It's inclusive of so many things. Similarly, the I is inclusive of many things: mind, intellect, organs, and indriyas, and many various organs, many activities of mind. If I don't have, even though I have got all the organs, and if I have everything, and if I have got mind and intellect and indriyas and all that, if there are no activities, there is no thinking going on in the mind, then I don't call it as I. It is inclusive of the thoughts, inclusive of the activities that I am doing, is inclusive of everything is I, is it not? The I, is it one? No. It's a combination of anekam. 2 hands are there, 10 fingers. No, when you split it up, 10 fingers are there, and then 2 legs are there, and things like that. All this put together is called the aham. So is the I singular? Is the I ekam? Is the aham ekam? Is what I am asking. Aham is consisting of the Parabrahman. Aham is nothing but the Parabrahman. And the Parabrahman is not one, it is not nirakara, we said nirakaratum, nirvikalpatum, nirakaratum, nirgunatvam, no, nirahankaratum, everything is none. None of them are there. Beyond that is called the aham. So it is not singular, it is not one, is why it is Advaita. So when we said that the self-control, so whom of this, all this control consisting, which is known as self? Self is consisting of all this put together is called the self. That's called the Brahman. Brahman, Sarvamayam, Brahman, Sarvam, Kalvidam Brahman is said. It's not a particular unit or individual, but it is in many, but it is not in many. It's neither one nor anekam. Neither ekam, anekam. Ekam and anekam has come only based on the samaya, kalas, time and space, and the mathematics, the time and space has come. The numbers have come, or the count has come only based on the samaya and the kala. The time has come for what? When the time, who has got timelessness, we said that Bhagavan has got timelessness. He doesn't have no. But we have got time for everything. We have got count for everything. Well, that will come later. It's again a great. So, when you put all these things together, the Samaya is only that created by us. We set the Kala, Bhuta, Bhavi, and Vartamanam, are the Kalas. The Kala is for whom? The one who thinks it is the past, the one who thinks there is a future, the one who thinks there is a present. The one who doesn't have any of these things, because he, being a Sharira and Mana and connected with the activities, he has got the Kala, so he counts it. He is counting it as a past, present and future, 1, 2 and 3. When he doesn't have the Kala, the sense of the Kala, or the identity of the Kala is not there, he doesn't have any count, it is not necessary. We call it as number of Janmas. Based on number of Janmas is based on the Sharira. The same Atma, we also say that, we also preach, everybody preaches. The same Atma, the same soul, same Atma is being reborn into different Shariras, forming the different Shariras. So we call it as number of Janmas. Is it number of Janmas? Is the Brahman born again and again? Is the Atma born again and again? Which is born? Born means which appears, that has been born. What is born? Let's think about everything. Why we call it as he is born? Have you ever thought of it? I too have not thought.
Emerged.
It is there. It's all, the answer is there only. That's how I got it. Huh? That which is bearing is born. Bearing. He is bearing the child. She is bearing a child in the womb. Bearing from that which is bearing, somebody is carrying, somebody is bearing it, so we call it, it is as from the bearing, when it comes out from the bearing, somebody is carrying it, no? Or let us say externally, that is because internally we call it bearing. We are bearing a thought, and that thought is projected, a thought is born. An idea is born, we say that, is it not? Where is the idea? Where is the shape and form of the idea? Idea is born by bearing in you. First of all, it is bearing in your mind. Since it is bearing, it is born. If it is not bearing, it is not born. That which can be having bearing only can be born. That means the human being is being born because it is being. So is it the human, is it the Atma that is being born in the stomach? It's the Sharira which is being formed in that. So what is born? Sharira is born, not Atma. Neither I am born, not we are born, nothing. This particular Sharira is born. That's all. It's a combination of many things, whatever chemicals are there, whatever we call it, medically we can say so many things, is put together, a Sharira is born. Atma is not born. Neither the Atma is born with that, no. Nor the Atma is born in that, no. Atma is not born in that. The soul is not inside the body. Is there inside the body? Atma is inside the body. No. Then where is Atma? The Sharira is in Atma. Now, when you really analyze it and classify it, but even though the language doesn't say that because it doesn't appeal for the student to conceive it. So we say the Atma is inside. If the Atma is inside, Atma is outside also, we say. No, somewhere else. If the Brahman is inside, Brahman is outside also. Like the breath is inside, breath is outside also. Similarly, the outside world is also that which is inside, is what I am trying to tell you. Is it not? That when it is born, the child is born, the Brahman is not inside the body, it is also inside the body. Not inside the body, but it is also inside the body. That means it is external also. It is not restricted by this, the body cannot bind the Atman, can it? If that's the case, then we will not say that unka Atma chala gaya. For the people who die, we also say that. No? Atma, their Atma has gone. Atma chala. No, that's a more polished way of saying that somebody has died. Unka.
Also, Sharir Tyag Diya. So, who has done that?
In the other way, yeah. In other way, Sharir Tyag Diya. वो शरीर को त्याग दिया, आत्मा चला गया. शरीर आत्मा को त्यागा नहीं बोला. We cannot do the tyaga of the Atma, we can only do the tyaga of the Sharira. Why? Because Sharira is the one we have procured, that which can be removed. Atma is that which is there inside as well as outside. So the outside world, why I am saying all these things, when he said about the outside world, context of the outside world is as a perception, that's all. Nothing other than that. Since we have got a Sharira, we have got a perception of the outside world and the inside world. What is inside? What is outside? That which is inside. So we cannot say Aham is consisting of everything, even though that is there. But for the purpose of studies, we have to have this self-control when we are all in the context of the outer world. So we are in the ignorance of that. There is an outer world and there is an inner world. We are in that perception. Having that perception, immediately to remove that perception is not possible. So we have to go along with that wrong perception of outside world and inside world, and gradually we have to merge the outside world and inside world same and make it a Dvaitam. Is why all this exercise to make us understand. What is self-realization? Once that outside world and the differentiation, that's why he said that discrimination of the real and unreal, detachment from the unreal. When I come to a detachment from the unreal, I told you that, no. We are not telling that attachment to the real. We did not say that. Because there is no one to get attached to the real at that time. But there is somebody who is there to detach the unreal. No? That is why the unreal has to be detached. So the misconception of the outer world, so even though that is a principle, here subject has been totally, slightly different. Since the self-realization has come, so I said, who is that self? Self-control, sorry, not self-realization, self-control. So control is not to the self, control is to the paraphernalias that which presumes themselves as self. Control of those units which presumes that they are the self. Like the mind thinks I am the self, the intellect thinks I am the self, the indriyas thinks I am the self, the emotions thinks I am the self, the thought thinks I am the self. And coming down to the lowest point of view, the heart thinks that I am the self. If I am not beating, he will not survive. The heart thinks I am the self. Liver thinks I am the self. No, if I am converting all that into personification of that, then they are all thinking, each one is a self. None of them are self. But the self is all with everyone, everything of them. Advaitam. You understood the meaning of Advaitam? The meaning of Advaitam is it cannot be explained. That's the thing. Inexplainable. Brahman cannot be explained. That's why these are things, when you really analyze it, can you explain it? You cannot explain it. But yes, we explain it to the lower consciousness in order to make us understand there is something which is not. Why we are explaining all these things, you know? Do you know the beauty of the studies of all this? Yeah? Very simple. To tell that none of them are the right, above all these things are the right. Neti, principle of Neti. To know nothing of them are right, only to that why we are studying all this. Like the Sharira is not me, so if the Sharira is not me, Mana is not me, thoughts are not me, understanding is not me, languages are not me, nothing is me. If the Sharira and Mana is not there, none of them are required. No, sweep them all out. Then, who is me? That which has none of these, or that which has everything of this. Whichever you can take. Both are same. Both are same. None of these or everything of these, both are same. Why did I say both are same? Why? Because when I am in a shape and form, all these things are not same. But when I don't have a shape and form, all these things are put together in a gist, and then it is not identified as separate, it is identified as self only, put together only. When I am born in a form and shape, then only these paraphernalias have been identified as split. Did they come afterwards? They came along with you, is it not? Did the mind, paraphernalias, this intellect and indriyas, and the concept of the outside world, inside world, mother, father, brother, sister, tree, plant, world, water, everything came only the moment you are born. When you are not born, were they all not there? Was the sea not there? Was the world not there? The tree was not there? Or the flowers were not there? We have to say it was there. But I identified them only when I am born, is it not? The sea was there. But when I identify them, when I am born, so when a shape and form has been born, then only these paraphernalias have been identified. When it is not there, they were also not there. Let us go to the first thing, the beginning of that. When no man was born, nothing was there. Was there sea at that time? Even the planet Earth was not born only afterwards. No, it was not there. Even the planetary system was there. It was no. Many things were not there. Many things have come out from many other different planets. Only it has come and formed another planet and things like that. So none of them were there. They all came from something or other, same way. None of them were there. When you are born, when you could identify, then only these identifications are there. When you are not able to identify, none of them are there. Similarly, but they are consisting of all these things. They have not been created by you. You saw it is there. Because they are the analysis and bifurcations of that one can be experienced by a form and shape. If the form and shape is not there, many things are not there. If I am sleeping, I am not able to think about many things, but I dream. I cannot think. But when I am awake, I am able to think of many things. I can think, okay, that country, this country, their war, There are no war, this peace, that, this. Everything can be identified. When you're sleeping, nothing is there. You see. That means when you're sleeping, none of these things are there. They are there. But are they there? They are not there. No, this concept has to be very well understood, because only up to this point one can explain. Beyond that, explanation is not possible, because languages cannot explain the Brahman or the existence. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. Vani, Vakya can explain. Languages and Vani can explain only up to this limit. Why? Because it is inexplainable. In order to attain that inexplainable, you have to be inexplainable. Then you can understand that. The day you go to, we have told this in the Chandogya Upanishad as well as in the Dhyanam classes, we said that when we are above the higher, lower consciousness and reaching the higher, after reaching the higher consciousness only, I can identify what is higher consciousness. By looking from this lower consciousness, it is just looking at the vast sea, that's all. No. So he said, living self-control in all our contacts with the outer world. When we are having the contacts with the outer world, our self-control, that means the control of the mana, indriyas and the intellect, everything has to be there according to the discrimination and the detachment and the shatsampati and the desire, burning desire for attaining the self, this discipline of my mind. What is the discipline? Of the who? Whose discipline? The discipline of the mind, discipline of the indriyas, discipline of the sharira, discipline of the intellect has to be there whenever you are approaching an external object also. Through that discipline only you should be able to do that, so that many of the misconceptions of attaching the objects to us can be removed. Is why he is emphasizing on that discipline. Discipline means to be in the tapaha. That's how it all started. Tapasya is that what? To be firm in understanding that I am this. Up to that, let us stop there for the time being. We may continue. Wherein all efforts are dedicated for the higher purpose of evolving ourselves into the diviner being is known as tapas. That means when we approach an external or the world outside the sharira and mana, when we are approaching that world, when we are with that discipline in mind, that Brahman is that, and my purpose of survival, my purpose of life or living is meant for liberation. It is not meant for creating attachment and enjoyment. No. Emotional enjoyment with the objective experiences should not be there. It's not the purpose. Not that should not be there. You may enjoy it, no problem. But you should know the purpose is not that. No. As I told that many things, that the purpose is different. Purpose of birth is different. Purpose of our life is different. This consciousness, this understanding or this consciousness should always be there wherever, whenever we are approaching to that. No? When we practice these things, it will always be there. We call it as, in our common language, we say in our house, in our elders and other people, in our society also, they say that samskara, we have got our culture. You must speak according to our culture. You must behave according to our culture. You must do things according to the culture. Things like that. So that you are, what is that? You are being disciplined. That disciplinary action is happening inside us when we are saying that we are following our samskara. What is that samskara? Samskara is that which is constantly being inducted in you by a group of people who had experienced that by living this way, one will be comfortable in order to take the life in the right manner, as well as we will be diverted and away from the unwanted things and unwanted incidents and happenings, and going in the wrong path, it can be taken out. So they have created a samskara. Samskara is a constituting number of disciplinary actions in one way. So we call that put together. Samskara is not only one point alone. No? Many of the actions, many of the various points of the disciplinary actions have been incorporated, put together, is called a samskara. It's a book of various chapters. It's like a book with various chapters explaining various things, like you should be behaving well. What is behaving well? Then there is an explanation. What is called behaving well? How do you should be respectful to elders? How should be talking respectfully to elders? What are the words to be used when we are doing respect? What should be our, not only words using that, also what should be the body language when we are being respectful, when we are authoritative, when we are sad, when we are happy. All this put together is samskara, is it not? Hey, pranamam padaji. Nobody says that. Hey, you see? So word alone cannot do that. So we have to say pranamam. That makes samskara, is it not? This is called samskara. So what is samskara? Samskara is that which is consisting of various disciplinary actions put together. Similarly, our activity along with the outside world, when we are approaching to any of the objective experiences in our life, should be like the samskara here in the question where we are talking about the Atmabodha, should be that we should be conscious of the Atmabodha in us. That means conscious of the Brahma Sakshatkaram in us. That we are born meant for liberation from all these things. We are getting attachment of these things, or when we are having contact with all these things, not to get attached but to get detached. Like what we said, we are learning all these things to get detached from this. Similarly, in each and every experience of our life, we are getting attached to those to get detached. After experiencing the attachment, that this is the attachment, this will create only emotional and intellectual balancing and satisfaction in the mind and indriyas, but it is not giving me liberation or mukti or moksha towards the Brahma Sakshatkaram. Self-realization is called the Jnanam. That Jnanam is the one which is necessary for Brahma Sakshatkaram, we said. Jnanam is because ultimate intention of the Atmabodha is there. Jnanam is the one which will give you liberation. Nothing, not only that, he also emphasizes, not only Adi Shankaracharya, but the Vedic science, Vedas, as well as the principles of life also accepts that nothing other than Jnanam can take you towards liberation or Brahma Sakshatkaram. Nothing other than that. All other things are happening in order to acquire knowledge from that. Now, that also I am wrong. Again I am wrong there. Are we acquiring knowledge from that? From any objective, we are not acquiring knowledge actually. We are only experiencing the discipline of being independent of any of these things. That's all. We are not acquiring the knowledge. What is the knowledge? The knowledge comes when we are independent of all these things, then that's called the knowledge. When we are dependent on anything else, is not the knowledge, it is ignorance. When we are without ignorance, then only we are knowledgeable, or we have knowledge, or we are knowledge. We should not be ignorant, then we are knowledge. If we are ignorant, we are not knowledge. It's not, and knowledge is the one which will give you mukti or moksha, liberation. That indiscrimination. See, what is a discrimination? Indiscriminately. That means where a point should reach that an indiscrimination happens. There's nothing to discriminate has to reach. It's called indiscriminative state. State of indiscrimination has to be reached through discrimination of the real and unreal. For a Maharishi and Tapasvi and Jnani, nothing is to be discriminated. War is happening, people are dying, people are being born, people are doing that. What happened? These are all the principles of life. For him, it is neither new nor old, nor it is happening, nor it is not happening. It is a Kala Chakra, he said. Keeps on moving, keeps on moving. For him, there is nothing to discriminate. A point of indiscriminate. There is no necessity of discrimination. Discrimination is necessary when you are having confusion about the discipline. Then only a discrimination is necessary. No, discrimination is necessary when the mind has got differentiation of good and bad. Then I have to have the discrimination of good and bad. When the mind doesn't have the thinking of the bad and good at all, is there a question of discrimination necessary? No. It's only a point of argument. So they said that thoughtlessness. Where will you reach? Thoughtlessness. When there is thought, then only you will have good and bad. When you have good and bad, then only point of discrimination comes. You see, from where we are starting and where we are going. You got it? Ultimately, thoughts come from the experiences. If all the experiences become only Brahman, Brahma Sakshatkaram, there are no thoughts. Neither there is a thought. Because the function of the mind is no more there. When there is thought, then only the function of mind is there. The mind is no more there. When mind is Nischala Bhava, they said, Nischala Bhava. Charate, Achara, we said that. Acharate, non-agitative status of mind, neither happiness, nor sadness, nor worries, nor good, nor bad, nor this, nor that, nor white, nor black, nor day, nor night. Indiscrimination. So, when there's nothing to discriminate there, you see, when the thought is not there. When none of them are there, if they are all becoming, it's not that none of them are there. They are all same. Again, difference is not that none of them are there, they are all same. Bhakti, just giving an example. For bhakti, is there difference if I have bhakti during the day and during the night? Bhakti is bhakti, is not. Neither day or night is effective. Love and affection, during daytime, when I am awake only, I will have love and affection. When I am sleeping, when I am lying down, no love and affection. Happiness, sorrowness, sadness. No classification, it's always there, no. But it's there. That's why I said, they all becomes one. Today morning I was listening, somewhere some Bengali bhajan was there. So many songs are going on. One bhajan was there which I liked it very much. One word I cannot now tell in Bengali, unfortunately. The meaning is that, hey Ma, make me feel the sadness and happiness as same. The prayer is that, make me feel the sadness and happiness as the same. See, this is the prayer. You see. So when it is same, there is no differentiation. You see, this is what I am trying to tell you. So you got enough of matter on that, but then still we are talking about the self-control, means Sharira and Mana. Tapas, we said.
It's there.
Into the diviner being. So, what is tapas? Tapas is that, now we come to conclusion of tapas. Tapas is that constantly being in the consciousness of the Brahman inside me. My purpose of living is meant for liberation, not for attachment. Liberation is opposite to attachment. Not for attachment, but I am experiencing all these things for the purpose of detachment alone, because by experiencing only I will be in a position to be free from the attachments. See, unless I know about attachment, how can I have non-attachment? So I should have attachment. Then knowingly I should have detachment. Not by force, So, in order to not to have a force, because by force nothing can be achieved. No liberation can be done. It is not liberating from one place to another place. Liberating from the activity, karma, activities to the self. Where? It is inside only, here only. When I don't have the presence, feeling of the presence of the Sharira, when I am closing my eyes, do I have the feeling of presence of my Sharira? No. Where am I? Nothing. Where are you? Neither anything is seen, nor anyone is seen, nor you are feeling the Sharira, nothing is there. Similarly, this status has to be achieved consciously. Then only we will be in a position to identify the higher consciousness. It's called the tapas. Tapas is a constantly being in that discipline of understanding that I am the Parabrahman. This body is born in order to experience, and then experimental experiencing, only for purpose of experimental experiencing, so that the detachment takes place. So I am willingly in a position to have karma mukti from this Sharira, Mana and the activities of it. This is the purpose of it, has to be that consciousness, that presence of mind, we call it as presence of mind, has to be there in us so that we will be in a position to attain that. This is called tapas. To be constantly being in one thought of, for the purpose of liberation, is called tapas. Tapaha is that constantly being there. Like when the boiled water kept for boiling, when the fire is on, constantly the fire should be on, then only it will be keep on boiling. The moment you switch off the fire, boiling stops. Right? Tapaha. Tapa has to be constant there. So constantly in everything, in every activity, every word, every action, everything, this consciousness has to be there. That means constantly being there is called tapa. Like the boiling water with the fire is all that. The moment the flame is off, boiling is stopped. It will go back to the cold water. All efforts are dedicated to the higher purpose of evolving ourselves. It's a dedication. So I must be conscious that why am I here? In order to experience it and experiment it and evolve with myself. So this is called the tapas. Now we will continue the next class. Only we reach the tapas. From we can say one more sentence so that this paragraph is finished. From pilgrimage and fasting to japa and dhyana, all spiritual endeavors at self-control are different types of tapas only. All these things are tapas. Being constantly in that. Through these methods, one's sins becomes weaker. By the tapas, what happens, as I told you? Not that you get liberated. No, no, no. With the tapas, your sins becomes weaker. That means those which are, what are sins? And what do you mean by weaker? Speaking weakness of the sins, how it is being removed. This we will explain, start from the next class. Sin. The sin, let us start with the sin. Okay. Oh, Shanti.